hello. How are you doing today, George? Great. Thank you. Thank you for asking. It's so nice to see a new face, especially during this whole quarantine. I agree. I agree. So, George, tell me, have you always lived in North Carolina? You have? Oh, wonderful. I just moved here myself and I love it. It is such a fantastic place to live, so you're very fortunate. So, tell me, what do you do for a job? What is your occupation? All right. A plumber. Perfect. And what do you do outside of plumbing? What is something that you like to do to relax? All right. Board games. What board games do you play? I love Catan. That is actually one of my favorite games. We play it all the time too. Oh yeah, it gets very animated sometimes. Now, do you play with your family? Do you have family in the area? You do? Perfect. Wonderful. So, George, I could sit here and talk to you about Catan all day, trust me, but I would really like to go over some of these benefits I have here for you, okay? Wonderful. Now, George, have you heard of American Income Life Insurance Company? You have not? That doesn't surprise me. We do not advertise. Now, is this your first time filling out a response card? All right, wonderful, perfect. And did you attend your last union meeting? All right, yeah, you're not the first one. I don't think many people go to those. Now, you've probably heard of our parent company, Globe Life Inc. You have? All right, perfect. Yes, they are actually the official life insurance company of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know you heard of the Dallas Cowboys, whether you love them or you hate them. Yeah, everyone knows the Dallas Cowboys. Now, since 1951, we have been supplying supplemental benefits to over 30,000 unions, credit unions, and labor associations. So that's going to be your police officers, your teachers, and your firefighters. Now, we are an international company, rated A+ Superior from A&M Best Company, which is the oldest known insurance rating company. Now, to this day, we have over $63 billion of life insurance in force, which is the largest in North America. Perfect. Now, George, I'm just going to go over some of the benefits that you are entitled to. In addition, we're going to go over some of the benefits that you may qualify for. Now, your job is simple. I just need you to sit back, relax, and listen. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, okay? Perfect. Now, the first benefit is the accidental death and dismemberment benefit. Now, I have here that your beneficiary is your wife, Rachel. Is that correct? Perfect. So the accidental death and dismemberment is going to give $4,000 to Rachel in the event if you die in an accident. Now, what's great about this benefit is that if you were to die, or not, excuse me, if you were to lose one hand, one foot, or vision in one eye, it is going to give you $2,000. So it has a living benefit. Now, if God forbid you were to lose vision in both your eyes, both your feet, both hands, it is going to give you that full $4,000. Now, George, I just want to verify, what is your address? 3 Dualt Road, okay. And what is your phone number? Perfect. And then I have your birthday as September 17th, 1991, correct? Okay. And Rachel's birthday as May 31st, 1992. Is that correct? Perfect. Now, George, this next no-cost benefit is the Child Safe Kit app. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but every 30 seconds a child goes missing. And if they are not found within the first 24 hours, there is a 93% chance that they will not be returning home. Isn't that heartbreaking? I agree. Yeah, so that's why we came up with this Child Safe Kit app. It helps set up that Amber Alert for that missing child. Now, do you have any children? I see that you wrote one. Perfect. And what is his or her name? Tommy? And how old is Tommy? 3 years old? Oh my goodness, 3 years old, say the funniest things, don't they? Yeah, I actually worked in a daycare and I worked with the 3-year-olds and they kept me entertained for days. So at the end of this conversation, George, we're going to download this app together and I'm going to help you step by step to help set this up, okay? Now, do you have any family or friends that have children? Your sister Jessica? Okay. And who else? Your sister Lindsay? And so how many nieces and nephews do you have? 4? Perfect. Now we just ask that you let Jessica and Lindsay know because this is a no cost benefit to them as well, okay? Perfect. Now this next no cost benefit is going to help lower the daily costs without affecting your current insurance. So this is going to give you a 10 to 85% discount on your pharmacy, vision, dental, chiropractic. The full list is right there for you. Now at the end of this conversation, you're going to look out for an email from us. You're going to register with that email and then you'll be able to get those discounts immediately, okay? Perfect. Now this next benefit is the Family Information Guide. Now the Family Information Guide is going to be the voice for your family when you are no longer with us. Now George, tell me, are you a veteran? You are? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate that. So you're just going to fill out that veteran information and then write down if you want to be buried with military honors if you so wish to, okay? Perfect. Now this next section is the people that are going to be notified in the event of an emergency. Now George, who do you want those people to be? Your mother? And what is her name? Pam? Okay. And then who is the other person? Jessica? Wonderful. Now have you thought of who you want your executor to be? Your mother, Pam? Okay. And so Pam is going to be the lucky individual that carries out your last wishes, okay? So we just ask that you let Pam know, all right? Perfect. Now, George, this next section is going to be where you fill out all the places that you have life insurance with. So we ask that you fill out your current coverage with plumbing to be filled out in pencil because those are subject to change. And then any company that you have insurance with outside of your job, we ask that you fill out in pen because those are guaranteed benefits that are going to be given to your family. Now, do you have insurance outside of your plumbing job? Through MetLife? Okay. So we just ask that you write MetLife in pen because those are guaranteed. And that will let Pam know, your executor, how to liquidate those estates. So this next section is going to be where you fill out your bank information. Now, George, if you're like me, you have a lot of your things on AutoDraft, like your Netflix, your Hulu, your Spotify, and I love AutoDraft. However, in the event of my death, I want those to be stopped because I want as much benefits to my family to be available as possible. Now, my bank, Wells Fargo, lets me know through notifications on when those things are being auto-drafted. Now, who do you bank with? PNC? Okay, I'm sure PNC has the same kind of notification system. So you'll fill out your bank information there. That way Pam will know to close those accounts immediately so those benefits can go towards your family. So George, this last section is going to be where you fill out all of your funeral requests. Now, have you thought of whether you want to have a earth burial or if you want to be cremated? Cremated? Okay, perfect. And so you'll fill that out here, who you want the minister to be at the funeral home, and the church you want to attend the funeral at, or have the funeral at, excuse me. And whether you want to wear specific jewelry or specific outfit, that way Pam will know your last wishes, okay? Wonderful. Now, George, what is great about this company is that we extend these benefits to your inner circle, your family and your friends. So they're going to be giving a $10,000 benefit. And each person is going to get that $1,000. And we want as much of that to go to your family and friends because we don't want it going back to the company because we have enough money already, okay? So let's start with your emergency contacts. So we'll write Pam down as one of those people. And then we'll write Jessica down and Lindsay. And who else? Your father. All right. And does he live with your mother? He does not. And is George spelled the same way as you? George Sr. Okay. And who else? Rachel's brother. Okay. What is his name? Daniel. Perfect. Rachel, do you have any other siblings? All right. And how would you spell that? Brianna. Perfect. And who else? Rachel, what about your parents? Okay. Chuck and Diane. And do they live together? Perfect. And Rachel, what about your friends? Do you want to extend to your friends? Perfect. Lorena, you said? Lorena and Ryan. All right, perfect. And just to give you a heads up, you have one more person. And your grandfather. And how does he spell his name? Nathan. Perfect. So I will let them know that I will be giving them a call so we can set up these benefits for them as well, okay? Perfect. Now this is the culture of life insurance. I go over with this everyone individually because everyone has different wants and needs. What may be right for you may not be right for the family that I saw before you or the family that I see after you. Now I go over this with everyone individually and they appreciate it because they have no education in the field. Now a lot of people believe that they have enough insurance already and that their benefits will never go away. However, they are wrong because they are not experts in the field and they do not have the education on life insurance. So again, that's why I go over with this everyone individually. Now there are 3 different occasions on when you would think about having life insurance. And the first one is when you experience a tragedy. Now, George, Rachel, have you experienced a tragedy recently? You have? My goodness, I'm so sorry. Do you mind me asking? My goodness, so Jessica's husband passed away, and how did he pass away? A car accident, my goodness, that is so unfortunate. I'm so sorry. Do you mind me asking how old he was? Oh, that's so young, and those poor children. I'm so sorry. That breaks my heart. So at that point, you were originally like, my goodness, life insurance. Yeah, exactly. So I'm so sorry. So moving on, the next event and when someone would think about life insurance is when there has been a change in health. For example, a heart attack, diabetes, a stroke. And unfortunately, once diagnosed, it is hard to gain further coverage. And the last occasion is when someone like myself sits down with the family and goes over some of the benefits. And at this point, it is vivid and clear why it is so important to have your family protected. Now, there are 3 different kinds of life insurance. The first one is job benefits. Now, job benefits are given to practically every employee, but unfortunately, you don't own the job benefits just as much as you don't own your job. And we see with a lot of people that the benefits are not paid out. When you retire, when you go on vacation, now you're given that personal time off, but you are not given that vacation insurance. Or when you're in between jobs, like the 41 million Americans right now, or when you are struggling with a long-term illness that will initially lead to your death. So that's why it is so important to have coverage outside of your job. And companies will typically offer 2 different kinds of insurance policies. The first one is term life. Now, term life is there for when you die unexpectedly, and it will give those benefits to your family. Now, term life is temporary, hence the word term. And the other type of policy is going to be whole life. Now, whole life is there for your family no matter how you die, when you die. It is there to protect your family for your entire life. Now, this is why life insurance is so important, because it is there to protect your past, present, and future to what you will be financially for your family. Now, the last no-cost benefit I'm going to go over with you, George and Rachel, is going to take into account your age, your income, and your health. Now, first we're going to go over some medical conditions. Now, tell me, George or Rachel, have you had any internal cancer in the past 2 years? And Tommy? Okay. What about any diabetes between the three of you? No? Okay. Any cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke? Wonderful. Perfect. And have you been to a nursing facility, had any hospital visits recently? Tommy has? Okay. Okay, it was for a anxiety attack. All right, perfect. And any oxygen equipment? No? Okay. And are any of you struggling with a terminal illness? Okay, great, fantastic. Now, George, do you remember having Alzheimer's disease? You don't? Well, that's the first sign of Alzheimer's. Okay, perfect. So, none for the three of you. And I'm assuming Tommy does not have any tobacco use, but George, Rachel, any of you used tobacco within the past 12 months? You both have? Okay, perfect. Now we're going to go over some non-medical questions. Now, I'm assuming Tommy is not currently on probation or parole. George, Rachel, are either of you? Okay, perfect. No. And again, assuming Tommy hasn't been arrested or convicted of a DUI. Have either of you have? All right, no, perfect. Now, the last we're going to go over some household information. Now, George, what is your monthly income? All right, $2,000. And Rachel, yourself? $1,500. And is little Tommy bringing in any money yet? Okay. And what is your job coverage with plumbing? All right, $50,000. Rachel? No job, right? That's right. Okay. And the permanent coverage that you have with MetLife outside? $75,000 for you, George. And Rachel? $50,000. Perfect. And what is your current balance on your mortgage payment? $100,000. Perfect. And Tommy's not in college yet, so we won't go over that. Now I'm just going to go over this letter with you really quickly. So there are several benefits available. Please take a few minutes to listen to the AIL representative, myself, who is visiting you. If they can help you with your needs in this area, we ask that you please take advantage today. If not, we would like your feedback, so please take a minute to complete the report form so that we can share this information with your union to help you serve you more effectively. The reason we are asking you to make this decision today is we have several thousand families requesting our programs, and we can only visit each family one at a time. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you and your family today. Now, the first no-cost benefit is going to be the funeral plan. Now, let me ask you, have you planned a funeral in the past 5 years? You're a brother-in-law? Okay, perfect. And I'm so sorry to hear about that. I really am. And the reason I ask is that funeral directors are not regulated. So they can charge $30,000 for a funeral that only costs $10,000, which is crazy. Now, George, let me ask you, what do you think a funeral director will charge you for a $50,000 if they see a $50,000 life insurance policy? Exactly, as much as possible. So they do like to see those big life insurance policies or a big savings account. And we work with a lot of police officers and firefighters, and we noticed that we were writing larger checks for the funeral directors than we were for their families, which is counterproductive because you invest, save, and pay into these policies, and you want as much of those benefits to go to your family as possible. So that's why we came up with the funeral plan. Now it's simple. Your family just takes in this certificate to the funeral home, and they go over with the funeral director the plans and the prices and all that, and then the funeral director will call the number on the front, and then we take care of everything from there. Now, George, Rachel, we never let them know how much your policy is for, and we pay those fees immediately. That way your family gets those benefits immediately. Does that make sense? Perfect. Now, it's safe to say that a can of soda costs more now than it did 20 years ago, right? Yes. The same goes for funerals, especially because of COVID-19. Now, analytics say that a funeral will cost $30,000 within the next 20 years, which is insane, but that's what the numbers say. Now, the funeral protection plan will take into consideration the full inflation rate of $30,000 or the partial inflation rate of $15,000 and a family protection plan of $200,000. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. So just to recap, the funeral plan will do the full inflation rate or partial inflation rate, and the family protection plan, which will help protect the current income. It'll help pay off the rest of your mortgage, and your child's education is assured. Now you can also add a child term rider for Tommy, which will cost $10,000, and then once Tommy gets to age 21, he can convert to a $50,000 permanent insurance policy without having to go